Hey everybody, it's Cathy, and in today's video I'm going to tell you 5 food I refuse to stop eating while I'm losing weight. I have been working one-on-one with a dietitian since this spring, and I began my weight loss journey following the healthy, balanced plate approach in July. And since then, I have lost 20 pounds and I'm continuing to lose weight. So basically what it is, you take a dinner plate, you divide it down the center. On one half, you fill that with vegetables, and on the other half, you have 2 quarters, one for protein and one for fiber-rich complex carbohydrates. I have been a lifelong dieter, mostly Weight Watchers, for all of my adult life. I would lose 10 pounds, get bored, and then put the weight back on. And what I found anytime that I count calories or count points, I found a way to cheat the system. I would still eat, highly processed sugary foods that don't have a lot of nutritional value in them, but I would find a way for them to work into my caloric daily intake, and I would eat them. So I could eat junk all day long until my points were finished. I was feeling really frustrated, and I was telling the dietitian this. So she has basically been teaching me how to think about food in a healthy way, because everything that has been branded in my brain up here from the diet culture, it's not right, because there's really no bad food. There are certain food you shouldn't eat, obviously, like sugar and stuff, but by food I mean whenever I was following Weight Watchers, say I wanted to eat corn or lima beans, they would cost me more points than say if I was eating cauliflower. And it's not to say that they are bad food, but I understand they have more starch in them, so you wouldn't want to eat them as often or in larger quantities. However, I did not gain weight by eating lima beans. I gained weight by eating junk food, sugar, drive-through food. It's really been a process for me to understand and grasp that I can lose weight by eating 3 meals a day and 2 snacks if I want them. It's healthy food and it's filling food, and food that is good and nutritious for my body. So I was skeptical at our first meeting, and she told me, we'd meet back in a month, and I thought, I really don't think I'm going to lose any weight, but I did, and I have continued to do so. So it's all about eating in balance and just kind of keep the plate that I talked about in your mind. So say if you're having stew or soup, make sure it's loaded with vegetables. You have your protein, and you can use your fiber-rich complex carbohydrates because your body does need them. There are bad carbohydrates like white bread, because they just immediately get broken down and go into your bloodstream, and then they give you a spike and you crave more. It's a vicious cycle. But if you're eating the healthy carbs, they are broken down over time, so you don't get that spike, and your body needs nutrition from all of the food groups. So this way of thinking and a way of eating has been very easy, and it works. And one of the reasons I believe it works is because I'm constantly not thinking about what I can eat next. And that is one of the problems I've always had with Weight Watchers or counting calories, because I would get finished one meal and then I'd think, okay, well, what can I have for the next one? So I was constantly just thinking about food, having to measure food. I don't measure anything on this plan. I just use the plate. If you need to start measuring, to feel comfortable, I suggest following the serving size on the side of a box, like if you're having cereal, but I do not measure anything. Because I know, as a lifelong dieter, I know approximately that the size of my palm is the right amount of, say, protein for me. That's probably about 4 ounces of chicken. I know that palm of my hand is probably 1 cup of rice. It's already up here. You just use common sense. And don't keep the plate if you're following this program. You still want to see bits of the plate, around the food. And I would only stick to 1 plate full of food. And if you're still hungry, then eat vegetables. Because if everything is in balance, you shouldn't be hungry. At least that's what I have found. So, maybe you're not getting enough protein. And protein is important because it keeps us feeling full, as does the fiber, and that is why we're eating high fiber complex carbohydrates. Using the balanced plate approach has really taken the stress out of losing weight for me. I'm not constantly thinking about it. And if you would like more information, I'll link a video here that I did where I dive deeper into the plan, and I have another video coming out in the next month where I go even deeper and we talk about, healthy fats and so on. So my dietitian is only available to me through my doctor's office. She does not work work with other clientele, I suggest you contact your doctor or your healthcare provider and ask them to set you up with a dietitian either in person or online, because there are people out there that can help you. Ask them, that they should be able to put you in touch with someone. I'm happy to share what I am learning as I go along, but remember, I'm still learning. I'm not an expert. I can only tell you what works for me. So I don't have all the answers to everything because, I'm not a dietitian, but I'm doing what I'm told to do from the dietitian, and I'm happy to share what I learned. So before I get into the food that I refuse to stop eating while I lose weight, of course, I cannot eat 2 platefuls of food, cannot eat highly processed food every day. I don't have to completely remove them from this way of eating. Maybe I can, have it once a month or find a way to work it into my plan. I just feel since losing the 20 pounds, I'm really starting to see a difference in my body, most noticeably my face. I can tell my face is not as puffy, I'm not as bloated as when I was eating a lot of sugar before. And I also have a video here that you can go watch if you haven't seen about my sugar addiction. And I was looking this morning, I know my belly is not as puffy as it once was when I was eating a lot of sugar, but I've noticed it's also not as hard and it's more jiggly. So sugar is really not good for our body. Sometimes I'll slip and I'll have a chocolate bar on Halloween, but oh my goodness, now that I've been off sugar for a couple of months, whenever I have it, first of all, it doesn't taste as good as I remember it tasting. But second of all, I pay for it that night. My joints will just throb. I'll have hot flashes, night sweats. So it just goes to show me what sugar was doing to my body. And I just want to also say this before I get in food I refuse to stop eating. I think what is also helping me is that I am really also working on the emotional side of the food, because I use food as a way to soothe myself. So whenever I'm feeling very anxious, which has been a lot recently, I still get those cravings I'd like a donut from Tim Hortons or, a chocolate bar. But I'll just sit and say, why? What is that donut going to do for you? And then if I just give myself 5 or 10 minutes, it just seems to pass and I don't need the donut anymore, because I wanted the donut because it was my way before of coping with stress. So now I just have to find a new coping mechanism. And if I still wake up the next day, I'll tell myself, if you wake up the next day and you want that donut, just go and have it. Because I know myself that I will think about that donut and I'm going to eat everything in the house and then I'm still going to go get the donut. So that's kind of how I have been dealing still with my emotional eating. This is not a diet. This is a healthy way to eat. It has to be sustainable, it has to be easy, and it has to be flexible for me to make it happen, because I am no longer counting calories or points. I'm no longer measuring food. I need to learn a way that I can live, eat a way that is going to be easy for me to keep up with. And this plan is what they have been preaching for years. And, I guess I just wasn't ready to hear the message until now. And I'm happy to say, I'm down 20 pounds and I'm happy with it. So the information that I'm sharing with you comes directly from the course notes from the online course that I took in January. So I'm not making this stuff up. It is actually coming from the material that was supplied to me from my dietitian when I did it was either a 6 or an 8 week Zoom session once a week before we started working one-on-one. So I don't have all of the answers. I'm happy to share what I have learned so far. So the first food that I refuse to give up while I'm losing weight is fruit. And I know that there are people that believe fruit is terrible because it's full of sugar. Well, I eat fruit every day, and fruit is a healthy part of a balanced diet. I have blueberries and raspberries in my yogurt every breakfast. And I also have apples, oranges, and grapes as for snacks also. And sometimes I'll even have a banana if I'm making a healthy smoothie. You have to use common sense. You can't sit down and eat the whole bunch of grapes. I will get a bowl and I'll put a good handful in my bowl. I like the red seedless grapes and I like them very, very cold. Some of you like them frozen. They're supposed to be very good that way. And that will be my dessert, or that will be my snack whenever I'm watching TV in the evening. It is okay to have a snack in the evening. It's okay. Fruit does have natural sugar, but it is still a great source of fiber, vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Be very careful with dried fruit. You have to limit that because dried fruit is not the same as fresh fruit. So the water has been removed, so the natural sugars are very concentrated, making them sweet. So stick to the serving side on the label or avoid them, if you don't really need them. Examples are raisins, cranberries, dried apricots, banana chips, fruit mix, the trail mix, the fruit mix. Also, consuming fruit juice is not the same as eating a whole fruit. The fiber has been removed. Keep your juices to a half a cup per day. If you buy canned fruit, I would buy it packed in water because, again, if it's packed in syrup, of course, it's going to taste sweeter, but it's also sugar then, right? The next food that I refuse to stop eating while I lose weight are complex carbohydrates. Complex carbohydrates contain fiber that is important to keep our bowels regular. It lowers blood cholesterol and helps to control our blood sugar level. Complex carbs give the body energy, and it takes the body time to break them down so you don't get a sudden spike of glucose. Now, simple carbohydrates are not good carbs. They are not healthy. They're awful. They get digested very quickly and they raise our blood sugar levels, which leads to us craving more sugar. So they're found like in soda, cookies, packaged treats, all the things that, I love. Well, I've never really been one for white bread unless, we were going out and they only had white bread. I definitely am a sugar addict. I like candy and I like cookies. So yeah, simple carbs are not good, but it is okay to eat complex carbs. So what are the good complex carbs? Well, whole grain bread, whole grain pasta, brown rice. And the dietitian told me, because I asked her about this specifically, that there is not much difference between brown and white rice. Don't feel bad, like if you don't like the taste of brown rice, you're still okay with the white rice. That is what I was told, and that is the information that I believe and what I follow. Quinoa, sweet potatoes, whole grain cereals, oats, nuts and seed, vegetables, and potatoes are all examples of good complex carbs. And especially if you keep the skin on the potato because it's loaded with fiber and nutrition. I also refuse to give up unsaturated fats. So that's nuts, seeds, vegetable oils, avocado, fatty fish, and flaxseed. Unsaturated fat helps to improve cholesterol. So homemade salad dressing with olive oil and balsamic vinegar is much healthier for you than a store-bought one that is loaded with saturated fats. So saturated fats and trans fats are not healthy. We should avoid them or limit them because they can contribute to heart disease. They raise cholesterol. So limit these saturated fats. Bacon, butter, red meat, processed baked goods. I don't eat fish, so I cannot offer you any suggestions on fish, but everything is in balance and moderation. Before I move on to the next one, I do use butter, but I only will use butter, say, if I'm having a baked potato. I cannot eat a baked potato without a little bit of butter. If I'm making a sandwich, I'll put a little bit of butter on it. If I'm making a toast, I'll use a little bit of butter. But I'm not using butter like every meal or every day, and I'm not using it in large quantities. You can still occasionally have a saturated or trans fat. I mean, you have to live. This has to be sustainable. Just don't have it every day. Don't have it at every meal. Maybe have it once a month or once a week for a treat. Red meat, I probably eat once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. I live on chicken most of the time. I don't like pork. I don't like any other meat really. Once in a while I'll have roast beef or a hamburger, but most of the time it's chicken. Now this next one is going to be controversial, but this is my plan and this is how it's working for me. I refuse to give up fast food. Life gets hectic and some days you just need something quick to grab. So don't eat every day going through the drive-thru, but occasionally you can. But make a healthier choice. And that is what I have been trying to do. Because sometimes, we're running here, we're running there. I'm just stressed. I just need something and I want it now. But now instead of ordering, the chicken burger with fries, I'll get like a salad with chicken on it. Or maybe a chili and a potato. There are healthy options. Also, you can order the kids' meal. I'll often do that because it's the perfect amount of food that I need. And you can substitute fries for apple slices. So there are ways to make healthier choices when you need fast food, when you need that flexibility. If you have a slice of pizza, that's okay, but make sure you have a salad with it. It's all about balance. Don't have the whole pizza, just have a slice or two. Subway has salad. They also have subs. I haven't been there in a really long time, so I'm not really familiar with their bread. But I know years ago when we were farming, we'd often grab a sub and they had like whole wheat bread. I'm not sure if they still do. I'm assuming that they probably do. But you know, that's not terribly unhealthy for you once in a while. So if you would like to see more videos like this, please give this video a thumbs up and leave me a comment. And the other food that I absolutely refuse to quit eating while I'm losing weight are potatoes. Potatoes get a bad rap. They're an excellent source of fiber. Fiber keeps your cholesterol in check. It has vitamins, minerals. It's what we put on the potato that makes it unhealthy. We load it up with lots and lots of butter. We load it up with sour cream. That's not healthy. If you have a potato and a tiny bit of butter, that's fine. If you don't need the butter, great. You might like plain Greek yogurt as your sour cream. I don't. I believe in having the real thing, because if I'm buying something that is fat-free, well, they have had to inject it with something else to make the taste good. So most oftentimes than not, they've added sugar to it. I just believe in having, if you're gonna have a little bit of sour cream, just use the regular one. Don't take a lot, maybe just a serving size once in a while, and you're fine. Because this is exactly what I have been doing, and I've been losing probably 5 pounds a month, which is healthy. And like I said at the beginning, the plan has to work for me. It has to be something that I don't think of as a diet. It's just a new way, a new relationship with food. And I have to eat in a way that I'm going to eat once I get to my goal weight. There's no point like starving myself, losing weight, then going back to eating how I'm eating now and putting weight back on. A great way to cook potatoes that I like to do is, you know those little round mini potatoes? I like to chop them up. I'll put some avocado or olive oil on them, some garlic powder, season them with salt and pepper, bake them in the oven for about 30 minutes on 350. And that's a great side with, chicken, or if you want to have a steak or whatever you might be eating that evening. And then also have some salad or some broccoli or another vegetable. So if you want to see more videos like this, please let me know. And in the meantime, I'll link my weight loss monthly check-in videos here. You can go get caught up on them. And I have a lot more healthy eating videos and what I eat in a day type videos coming. I'm working on them. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you soon. Bye.